Welcome back, everybody. We're back to talk about the GXV160 engine that you find in all the Toro commercial mowers. This is the commercial grade Honda engine, and we've gone over a few different things of this engine, but today we're going to be going over oil. So what a lot of people do is they don't understand how to properly check the oil in their mower, and I'm going to show you guys how. So people, when they check the oil, and this goes for most engines out there, not just Honda, but a lot of the different manufacturers, this is how you properly check the oil in your machine. So when it comes to checking the oil in your machine, you want to check that oil every single day, making sure that it's topped off, and then you're going to be changing it at the recommended intervals that the engine calls for, and it's usually about 50 hours of use. So maybe that is, if you're mowing about 5 yards a day, that's 5 hours a day. So if you think about it, if you're doing it 5 days a week, that's 24 hours, so every couple weeks. So basically what I tell people is about once or even twice a month. Oil is cheap. It's gonna cost you literally $2 in oil to change the oil in this thing if you're buying it in bulk. Most engines out there, this engine in particular, takes roughly 20 ounces. So, and this goes for almost all walk behinds out there, unless it has an oil filter. And if it has an oil filter, it'll take 24 ounces of oil. And this is the standard across the board for, like I said, almost every walk behind mower out there. So you think about it, a quart of oil is about 32 ounces. So you're using less than a quart. So 2 quarts of oil is going to get you about 3 oil changes in a walk behind mower. And a quart of oil is $5 or $6 or so. So if you think about it that way, it just makes the oil changes a no-brainer, and it's super easy to do, especially if you have the V4 oil extractor, or if you just have an oil pan, dump it on its side and drain the oil. But I'm going to show you guys a big problem when it comes to people checking the oil in their mowers. So when people check the oil in their mower, they are screwing it in to check the oil. So as you can see, the dipstick has some threads on here, and those threads equal about a 1/2 inch of difference. And a 1/2 inch of difference with a 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch of checking surface can equate to having no oil in your machine. So the proper way to check your oil in your machine is to take your dipstick out, wipe it off, tap your threads, pull it out, and that is how you check the oil in your Honda mower. And a lot of, I'd say 90% of the mowers out there, this is how you check it. You never screw it in. You always tap the threads and then remove, and then that's how you check your oil. So I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't know that. And if you didn't know that, make sure you comment below, because this is why machines are becoming damaged, or why customers say, oh no, I check that oil all the time and it's always full, and why is my engine blown? Well, they weren't checking it right. And it says in your manual that when you check your oil, you tap the threads, because with you not tapping it, it's gonna seem like it's full. So if you're screwing it in, that oil is going to be all the way up here, when in theory, it's barely touching the stick. And if it's barely touching the stick, that's about 50%, maybe 40% low on oil. This whole stick equals about 6 to 8 ounces. And you think about that in a 20-ounce machine, in a 20-ounce full oil capacity machine, that's a lot of oil. So if you learned something new, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're following the YouTube channel, where I go over different tips and tricks as well. But that is oil 101 on this Honda engine right here, or this Honda mower. Maybe it's the commercial Honda mower, or maybe it's a Toro with a Honda engine, or a lot of the different manufacturers out there. But if you have a Honda engine like this, or any of the Honda engines, that's how you check the oil.